What's up, AfterBuzzers? We're here to talk about episode 4 of Unexpected. It's all about Laura, and it really should be all about Laura. She's about to be induced. Kelsey's trying to get custody of Scarlett, and there's a lot of baby mama drama happening with Chloe, so stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Always good to bring some Madonna back.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like this song does a great job of representing Chloe's situation with her mom. What's up, everyone? Like I said, we're here for episode 4. It's all about Laura, and there is so much happening in this episode. Laura is going through the pregnancy issues we talked about last week, and there's a whole lot. But before we get started, I'm Steph, Sabraw, and I'm joined by the one and only...
Hey guys, it's Reyna-Dunne. So happy to be here with you, Steph.
Lauren and Ashley are gone, but we miss them dearly, and they will be back next week, so we miss you guys. Okay, so before we get started, we will be talking about Laura and Tyler, Michaela and Kailyn, Chloe's situation with her mom, meeting with a bunch of teen moms as well, Lexus, Shannon, and Kelsey, kind of three-way drama. And we will have our positive section where we give one positive shout out to one of the cast members. And we will wrap it up with some predictions. But before we get into it, what was your overall thoughts of this episode?
I think it's good. It's so hard to watch. These poor girls, they just seem to be struggling. And it's just like, oh, like they keep saying like, oh, if I would have known. And, you know, so it just for me, it's just hard.
Yeah. And I hope you're aware that this episode, since I just have you, I'm going to have to ask you a lot of mama questions because Virginia is our only actual mom on the panel. So we're so thankful for that.
Yeah. Happy to be a mama too. 2 little boys.
Yeah. You were ready for it.
I was. We planned the whole thing. So I still feel overwhelmed at times. So I really feel for these girls because, you know, I was crazy all the way into my 30s. So, you know, like they're in their teens and their life is just about to be rocked. So.
Well, I really like this episode, but I feel like I was feeling Laura's anxiousness because she's about to give birth, and I feel like that's the anxiety I picked up from the episode. So let's just get into Laura and Tyler's situation. There's a lot, I feel like, of family therapy that needs to be done, and you weren't here last episode where Laura's family was introduced, but what is your thoughts seeing them now?
I mean, I think it's just really tough because, you know, the sister, it's her birthday and, you know, her sister's about to be induced. And so this baby's going to be born and it's not about her. And, you know, you're a teenager and everything has been about your sister for the last 9 months. Like that kind of sucks. And yeah, I mean, the whole dynamic is going to shift because once the baby comes, like the whole great thing about this is like once the baby comes, everybody's going to love that baby, you know? So even though it's really, really stressful and it's going to be stressful for the girls, the family will rally around the baby and, you know, like, cause you can't be mad at a baby. They're just so darn cute. You know? So I think they will make amends, but I mean, that just has to be really tough for her.
Yeah, I personally feel like everyone is individually being annoying in some capacity, and no one wants to look at themselves. So I'll just break down my opinions of them. I think Laura, she should get a pass because she is pregnant and she's dealing with pregnancy issues that are so scary that she might have a stillbirth. But I get that. I think that she needs to try a little harder to reach out to her sister because her sister is 15. So I was annoyed of the sister for being like, Laura, you're doing this on purpose. But that's something my 15-year-old self might have thought and said.
Oh, for sure.
Back then. And then the parents are being I feel like they've had 9 months to absorb the shock, and although there's never enough time to absorb the shock, they need to start being a little bit more of the leaders in terms of positivity.
Yeah, because they were like, oh, you don't really require that much attention. And I'm just like, how do you just be like, it's cool. We don't need to worry about our other child.
Just because she's low maintenance. Those are the ones that internalize things.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I just couldn't imagine ever like thinking that to my child, like, oh, you're okay. I'm going to worry about this one.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, I get it. Like, you know, like the thing with childbirth is like, I mean, you could die in childbirth, you know? So I understand why like they're shifting all of the focus to their one daughter, but still it's like you have 2 kids. Like you got to make room for both of them, you know? So I don't know. I don't know how they are just thinking that like, yeah, you're going to survive this, you know? But yeah, it's tough.
No, that's an interesting point you bring up because I think there is this huge stigma about childbirth where we don't want to talk about the bad things, because at the end of the day, usually a good miracle comes out, which is the baby. But there are I hate to see Laura going through this, but then again, it's a really good learning moment for us because there are so many complications in childbirth and in pregnancy, and almost every woman experiences one thing or the other.
Yeah. It's definitely stressful. And I mean, you think that going in and, you know, so she was saying she's going to be induced. I was induced with my second child. And like, as soon as I got in there, it's like anxious. You know, the baby's going to come like today. They're going to do something to you to make the baby come. You know, and as soon as I was in the hospital, they, I started panicking. I started getting like really bad anxiety because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, if I die in childbirth, like, my son won't have a mom, you know, like, because I already have one son. You know, it's just like all these crazy weird thoughts start happening. Maybe I'm just a little bit like I said, I have a little bit of anxiety, but it's just like all these crazy thoughts are about to happen.
No, I think the mama bear kicks in. Like, that's instinct a lot of the time.
Right. And, you know, so like immediately they gave me a little something like calm my nerves. But, you know, then it's just like, okay, this is like actually happening. And once that ball starts rolling, it's not stopping, you know. So I definitely feel for her because it's just like we're doing this, you know. And so it's just a whole lot going on today having a baby.
I know, and it's interesting because I was freaking out when Tyler and Laura are leaving to the hospital for Laura to be induced, and the parents aren't there, because I feel like if I was her parent, I'd be like, you're not leaving my sight. And I think everyone's in so much shock that they didn't really feel it until they got into the car together and they were like, should we have done this?
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, you like for the longest time, you do just have this baby inside you and it's kicking you, and you think of all the like fun things you're gonna have with it and the names and all this clothes, but then it's like, oh crap, like this is real. The baby is gonna be outside and then you're gonna be taking care of it 24/7. So it is real when you're going to the hospital. I remember the morning for my first son, the morning my water broke, I just woke up and I just looked at my husband like, oh my God, like our lives are going to change forever, you know? And so, yeah, it is like that moment of like, it's happening.
But usually now you have a really close time period of when you think it will happen, right? When your water will break and you're gonna go into.
I had a good feeling. I mean, I wanted the baby out. I was so pregnant.
This is how little I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, we know when it is now to technology.
No, it was like I just knew it was happening. And okay, so this is a little bit TMI. Maybe you guys don't know this, but like before the baby comes, like the day or two before, like your body really starts getting ready for it. Like your belly drops, which I'm sure you've heard of. Like, you know, your baby is up here, and then all of a sudden you notice like your belly is far down and you start getting like crazy cramps. But the other really gross thing that happens is you go to the bathroom number 2 like 1,000 times.
Really?
Because it's trying to clear the stuff out for the baby.
Oh.
And so when my second child came, like I told my sister, like I had false labor, and I was like, yeah, like I'm going to the bathroom all the time. Like, I think this baby is coming today. And then he didn't come for 3 weeks. But, you know, and then I was induced. But like, yeah, your body like starts getting ready. And so and it's funny to see all the girls' reactions when they're like, oh my gosh, this is happening, you know, because it is gross. Like childbirth is gross. But yeah, like your body definitely kind of tells you like the baby's coming.
Dang, that is so interesting. It's not TMI because I feel like the reason we make it TMI and then none of us know, including the 16-year-olds, 15-year-olds who were saying, and we hear it with Chloe, which we'll discuss, her being like, I wish I knew that. They don't know any of this.
Yeah.
But before we move on, did you have anything else to say about? No. Before we move on to Michaela and Kailyn, you did have a announcement.
I did. So hey, AfterBuzzers, our network produces after shows for nearly all your favorite TV shows, from dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more. There is no network that works harder to serve television fans. But we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about those pesky notifications, don't be, because they're optional. So hit the subscribe button now for this channel and check out our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did so in the comments and we will thank you on air. For now, thanks for being the best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV talk.
Yes, I love my subscription now. I get my little note because I get notifications for the things I want. I'm like, oh, I almost missed that show.
Yeah.
So Michaela and Kailyn, Kailyn didn't say as much as he did last episode, but we did get reintroduced to Shelly for season 2, which is Kailyn's mom. And you and I both kind of had this feeling like she's onto something.
Yeah, she's like the level-headed one of the group. And I cannot believe that she last season was told she would have to have like supervised visitation. And I don't know how she was okay with that. Like, I would not be okay with somebody else telling me I couldn't see my grandchild.
I know, it's a really interesting thing because although the mom of the situation is the one who carried the child for 9 months, you don't have more ownership once the baby's born. So it's interesting that they did that to the second grandma of the child. So I would have a lot of mixed feelings about that. I am glad that they kind of figured it out. And she was saying, I don't want to say too many things to Michaela to make her feel some type of way. But everything she was saying was true in my opinion. Do you agree with that, with the whole living situation?
Absolutely, because if she's paying rent, that's partially her house. So why wouldn't she have a say in who gets to come and who gets to go? But I think that whole dynamic is just weird. Like, I don't understand it. Like, why are you wanting your daughter to live in like a dingy basement just so that she can live with you? I feel like there's something going on that they're not telling us, because the grandpa is like very concerned.
Yeah.
You know, and she was like, oh, my addiction hasn't hurt anybody, but like very clearly it has.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot to unpack with the mom. I agree.
Yeah. So I don't understand why, like, I'm not saying like addicts are never going to be okay, but it's like you're still in such a volatile space where like you just had a baby and you're struggling, and now you want your daughter who also just had a baby to live with you. You know, like, is that the best for even your sobriety, not just your daughter and your grandchild?
Yeah, it's really interesting because I have addicts in my family, and I think everyone at least knows one addict, and one of them said something really, I feel like, important to me, and he read, I forget where they got this from, but it was a mind shift that's like, a lot of addicts are like, oh, I'm 35 days sober, whatever it may be, and you're cured. And he's like, this is a disease, and you're never cured. You're just sober, and you live if it's better to live every day knowing that, like, if you think that you're cured forever, you will go back to it. And I just feel like there's a lot of unhealthy language coming from the mom, even though I think she means well. And there's a scene where she's breaking down and was like, I would never put Michaela in the situation. But it's like, you have 4 kids in this house now with Michaela. You have a dog that I didn't even know about. The basement's not fixed at all, and she's supposed to come in a few days.
Yeah, no, it was really hard for me to watch all of that because, you know, and I can, like, I feel bad for her because, you know, she clearly wants Michaela there, and I don't think it's all for the wrong reasons. You know, I'm sure part of it is like, okay, I've overcome this addiction, or she thinks she has, you know, and she's trying to provide her best, but she knows it's not as good as what her dad can provide. So I feel like that's probably really hard for her because everybody wants to provide the best for their kids, you know, but she just isn't there yet. And so she's taking it really personally. And it's like, you have to let your daughter, you know, get taken care of the best that your dad is doing. Like, why would you take her to a different space? I don't know.
It seemed, I don't know what the right word is, but when she was saying that it's not me, and it's like, I didn't tear apart the family, like, we've been fine, and it's like, sure, you guys are doing fine, you're stable, but you've caused a lot of rift in this family, and you have to be able to admit that for you to acknowledge your own problems and move forward, because Michaela's still a child.
Yeah, I mean, clearly she is, because even her, was it Shannon? Mm-hmm. Her dad was like, no, like, I have to say no. Like, you still don't have guardianship over her. You know, so she's clearly not able to make those decisions. And even if she was 18, like, 18 is still a child because she's 17, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's still, like, just too young to be making those decisions to move out with your mom, who was an addict, who also has a baby within a month of you. I mean, there's just so many things that could potentially go wrong. And then with the house, with like the wires everywhere and everything else and the concrete. I mean, even if you put carpet down, like, that's still really hard. Like, most carpet has like padding underneath, you know? So I feel like there's just so many red flags there that, like, if you really, really loved your daughter and your grandchild, you would be like, this probably isn't the best space for you.
I know, and it's a hard position because the grandpa was like, I have to put my foot down. It's not going to happen. And I don't believe he's wrong in this situation.
No, me neither.
It was just seeing the house, seeing the conditions, seeing how much work it would take for a non-mother, like someone who doesn't have 4 kids to take care of, would be real. It would be hard for me to fix it up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and we still don't know like who is paying for this, because they said she doesn't work, and like is there another person living with this? Do they have an angel investor? We don't know.
An angel investor. I wish. Yeah, it's really. That situation is stressful to me. What do you think moving forward will happen? Do you think McKayla will accept her grandpa saying no?
Oh no, I feel like that's going to be another battle, just because I feel like she's a little bit of like, I want what I want and I'm going to throw a big fit about it. And not in a terrible way. I mean, that's like 17-year-olds.
We all do it.
Like, yeah, everybody kind of wants their own way when they're that age and their own freedom. And I get that she wants the freedom, but I learned really quickly once I got my freedom that I really liked living back at home where I didn't have to pay bills.
Oh yeah.
It's like, damn, why did I leave?
Once you leave for college or any time for a few years, and then you come back and you get like your food already in the fridge, like parents who actually love you and are genuinely interested in your day to day, you're like, dang.
Laundry washed.
I'm sorry, mom and dad.
Like, why was I such an a-hole back then?
Yeah. You just don't get it. But I also think that Shelly really kind of broke ground with her, where she was like, dang, like, she is right.
Yeah, and I don't understand why Shelly, like, I don't know if there was just some animosity because Shelly is so level-headed, because was there any crazy drama with Shelly back then other than just the 2 moms getting in a fight?
I think McKayla's very protective of her mom, and also has, and Kailyn said this last episode, like, she just listens to her for some reason, and it's kind of like unfounded logic, like, why, Yeah. But I think it's a loyalty to her mom, which I understand, but you also have to realize what the situation you're dealing with. Okay, so I think we dissect them enough.
Yeah, we did.
Chloe, Max wasn't really in this episode. This was a good episode to just see kind of where Chloe's head's at, which was a lot less prepared than I thought she was. I feel like I was more on the mom side this episode, where Chloe's saying the right stuff, acting like she knows the right stuff, but then when you really look at it, you're like, are you prepared?
Yeah.
From your point of view, what do you think as a mother?
I don't think anybody is prepared for motherhood unless you've seen like your own siblings go through it. But even then, I feel like it's really difficult. And so, that's the thing. I've tried, like, I always talk to other moms when I meet them. Like, I even met a mom the other day at my son's pediatric visit because she just looked alone. Like, she had a 4-month-old and she just looked alone. And I was like, hey, do you have any mom friends? Like, come hang out with my other mom friends. And she was like, thank God, because, I quit work and now I have no friends and I'm isolated and I'm alone. And so many moms feel that. Even if you have the best support in the world, like, unless your friends aren't working, you are literally alone with that baby 24/7, and it feels very isolating and very scary, because it's just like, is this my life now? When before that, everybody like adored you because you're this pregnant lady, and like you're getting these great comments and you're going out to cute brunches, and and so then it's like you are alone, and then you have the crazy hormones, that like, I mean, it just, postpartum is just the absolute worst, because your body's all weird and the hormones and the baby's crying and you're not sleeping. And then you don't have friends, because nobody's on your schedule and you don't want to go out, or maybe you do. And I know some girls that like totally are cool with it, that just pack up and take their baby everywhere. But like me, I suffered from postpartum depression, and I know a lot of women do.
A lot of women.
Yeah, and it's like not really talked about that often, but it's so common, and just feeling alone is so common. And when I had my first baby, one of my teachers actually was from college. She had a baby at the same time, and she was like, just so you know, like, it's really scary, and if you ever need anything, text me. And I did. Like, for the first 6 months, I probably texted her every day, just like, why is this happening? Why am I crying? Why is my hair falling out? Just like all the crazy things that happen that you never even knew of, even if you read the books, so it's a lot. And so it is good that she talked to those girls, and I think she does need to stay at that school, because like, as much as her friends want to hang out, like, there's going to be so many other like boys. I mean, if you think about high school, like, you don't want to go hang out with your friend and their baby, like, you want to be doing high school stuff.
Yeah, I'm really glad that she saw her friends, and that actually brought up a few questions that I wanted to ask you. But Chloe reiterates kind of like her past. She was a cheerleader, football manager, really like doing a bunch of extracurriculars, loved her school, and now things are flipped. And she's having this conversation, and these are the questions like the C-section and versus normal birth.
Vaginal birth.
Yeah.
That's what they call it.
Vaginal birth?
It's called vaginal.
See, I don't even know that. Do you know how is the technology? Because I know that some people opt for a C-section.
Yeah, some people opt for a C-section. Like, C-section is crazy scary to me because, like, a C-section, it's a major surgery. They actually remove the organs from your body and set them to the side to get the baby out. Like, yeah, it's crazy, right? Like,
yes.
I would not even think of that. And like, you're awake and like you are numbed, but like your organs literally come outside of your body for a while. And then like you can get an infection. You can't lift anything for a while. Like, I mean, like it cuts through your abdomen. And I mean, a lot of people do it and all good for them. And I say healthy baby is the way to go. Like, because some people have to have an emergency C-section, like there's no choice sometimes. It's like, get the baby out. And for those people that do it, that's great. For me, it was just never the thing. Luckily, I did have just 2 vaginal births. But yeah, it's scary to think about like your organs outside of you.
Yes.
To me,
totally. And I always like thought they just moved it to the side a little bit, but no. Okay, and the really interesting part to me was the breastfeeding conversation where she's like, I'm just not going to breastfeed.
Some women don't.
Okay.
And there's a ton of mommy shaming that goes around. Breastfeeding is really difficult. I did it for 6 months for both of my kids, but like I got an abscess, which is like the worst thing in the world, where I literally was in the emergency room and they had to, like, I was stabbed and drained out, and I have a huge scar from it. And then I still pumped for like 5 months after that. So there's like a million things with breastfeeding. It's natural, yes, but it hurts horribly at first. Like you're bleeding, the babies don't latch right. It's just like all the things that could go wrong can. But then some people, it's just like my sister did it for like 18 months and they had a great bonding, and eventually you get used to it. Like your breasts just naturally get used to it. But
I'm like literally holding on to my breasts, like holding on for dear life right now. Because can you just tell your body like I'm going to use formula, and then because it doesn't.
Well, you do get engorged. Like everybody, well, not everybody, because some people have a problem not producing milk. But like 3 days after your milk comes in, usually it takes about that long. And I remember the first time with like James, I woke up and I was like, holy moly! Like my breasts were like the size of my head, and they were like as shiny as can be. And my husband, like his eyes were like gigantic. He was like, oh my God, and like they're rock hard, and it hurts. Like it really hurts. And so you have to like get the milk out, like hand squeeze it. Yeah, I mean, but then you slowly like stop producing milk. Like if you don't pump it, it won't come out. So you just slowly like let it seep out, kind of.
We're talking about this because I didn't know, and I feel like there needs to be some sort of program that gives the information, and Unexpected brought up the conversation. It has to be talked about, and I'm glad that Lexus had that. I'm not Lexus. We're doing Lexus next. Chloe had that conversation with them because I think that was a reality check that your friends aren't going to really be your friends. And that's for non-pregnant women too. After high school, like you don't talk to most people from high school. So she needs to be repaired, and I feel like her mom was kind of trying to set it in, and it'll be hard, but I think this was important for her.
And I do think it's good that she still has goals. Like they might shift a little bit, but I had friends who had kids in high school and then they went to college and they figured it out and that type of thing. So it's not like the end of her life, but it's just, it's not going to be the same thing she pictured. And it's not going to be as easy as she thinks it's going to be.
Totally. So Lexus and Shane, and this was another one where Shane wasn't really, or Lexus wasn't in the picture for their section of the episode. This was mostly about Kelsey. We get introduced to, and Kelsey, if you don't know, is Lexus's mom. We get introduced to her boyfriend, Maurice, who's 25, and Kelsey is 32, I believe, maybe 34. Interesting dynamic, to say the least. And she was telling him all about her issues with Shaden. And I kind of saw, because I was wondering what's Kelsey's huge issue other than their communication issues. They have to grow up. But I didn't know that Lexus's dad was in and out of jail. So I feel like maybe Shaden going to jail was triggering. Do you think that Kelsey's on her points are fair?
A little bit. I mean, I can see that must be slightly annoying that she's having to pay for everything and they're not pulling their weight around the house. And yeah, that probably does trigger some stuff that like, oh, he's been in jail. And we didn't really see any of that before. And so I don't know if it's like if she's not parenting her well, or if it's just the money issue. Because I mean, I don't know if you can actually take a baby away from someone if they're not financially taking care of it. I don't know the legal aspects of that, but if it was like they showed that he wasn't like comforting the baby, or like it's not physical abuse, but like he was just letting the baby cry, now that's a reason why someone could take the baby away. But so I don't know what, she didn't really even explain it other than I've been paying for everything.
Yeah, it seemed kind of dramatic, and I thought she was just like expressing herself like I should just take custody, but then she was like, I saw a lawyer.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting, and I feel like I want whatever's best for Scarlett, and so would she. But I think that Shaden needs to start pulling his weight, and Lexus. Like it's both of their responsibility. But if she's home with Scarlett or at school and Shaden's not doing either, he needs to get a job and pay.
Yeah.
I think. Do you have anything else just on the episode?
No. I mean, it was good. It was stressful.
Yeah.
It's always stressful.
Let's flip that and do our segment of the week where we give a positive shout out to one of the cast. Do you want to start it off?
Well, yeah, I do. And I'm just going to say, I love McKayla's grandpa. Like, he is just the sweetest. And I feel like he always just wants to do the best for her, because she has had a hard life, and, her mom has had this big struggle. And I think he's not only just trying to do it for her, though. I think he is trying to help the mom, because it's a slippery slope with dealing with all of this stuff. And I feel like as much as it's like killing him to do this, it's for the best.
Mm-hmm. Good choice. My choice is Shelly, Kailyn's mom, because she was very mature, and that was kind of refreshing, where she gave her point of view, but also didn't want to be like disrespectful to the fact that this is McKayla's mom and Shannon, and this is her kid, obviously. So I feel like she provided really good input and the right input, in my opinion, but was careful not to be disrespectful. So kudos, Shelly. And before we wrap up, let's get into some predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Love it.
Okay. I can start this one, I guess.
Go ahead.
I think that there's going to be a huge blowout between Lexus and Kelsey, but I think that they need to talk it out. And Laura is going to have a beautiful, healthy baby, fingers crossed.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the baby because they're always just so cute. And I think there's going to be some drama with Diego and Emily's mom, because he is just not a nice boy. And I don't know, like, I've looked at their YouTube and it's cute. So I don't know how that's all working out, but I'm concerned there's going to be a blowout.
Yeah, maybe he's changed. And this is just the taping of it. He was better last episode, but you have to respect the moms and the parents.
Yeah.
No matter how annoying they are, because in-laws are annoying. Everyone's annoying. You're the inferior of the time being.
You're the impregnator.
Okay, well, I agree. But yeah, I think that wraps it up for this episode. Thank you guys for joining us, and we will be back next Sunday to break down episode 5. But in the meantime, where can we find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Virginia Reyna.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Steph Sabraw. And we'll see you guys next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.